Hi, I run the blog smolbendyburrito, and I have EDS, Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. This is my first video, so I don't know. But basically, um, found out. Well, I realized that I had Ehlers Danlos Syndrome um, several months ago. Um, Maybe like early this fall, I guess. So like not quite August, but maybe around September. It's 2015 right now. But basically, I had had really severe chronic pain for years that at the time was attributed to my scoliosis, which I have very severe scoliosis, which might not be the easiest to see right now, but like my rib cage is here, like rotation wise, like this is the one, the edge of it, and then this is the other edge of it, which like I look pretty normal, like, but my rib cage is here, which is a little easier to see. Like if I turn a little bit, like my back is really like weird, like you can see. I don't know. And then also I have like a big S curve, which also for me because it's an S curve, it kind of like centralizes it a bit, but yeah, so I have really severe scoliosis that they attributed my like problems walking and stuff to that. They attributed my joint problems to that. They were like, oh, well, your whole body is like bendy and weird, and it's just like popping and cracking all the time because it has pressure in weird places, or your pelvis is unstable because your bones are just shaped the wrong way. So for a long time, I had just been told it's just the scoliosis, don't worry about it. When my joints started to give out, at first it was in my knees, it was particularly my left knee started to give out, and they were like, oh, it's just because one leg is longer than the others. The tendons are stretched weird, so it's like, you just gotta be careful. And so I was like, okay. But I was like really like a sickly child, stereotypical, like real asthma, couldn't build up any stamina, couldn't build up muscle tone, always super weak, always super sick. I had a really crappy immune system to the point where they actually thought that maybe I had HIV, which I didn't. I still don't have HIV. I'm not laughing because I think HIV is funny. I'm laughing because I've been tested multiple times for HIV, and it turned out it wasn't. I don't have an autoimmune system problem, but they used to think I had an autoimmune system problem. They're still not really sure what's wrong with my immune system, but it seems to have calmed down now. But basically, yeah, my ANA was negative. I don't know, but so I I don't know, very stereotypical Ehlers Danlos childhood of like, oh, I just had all these problems. I was super flexible. My family just insisted it was normal because other people in the family had real bad chronic joint problems. I was told I probably had juvenile arthritis, which is weird. My dad had juvenile arthritis, air quotes. But so like as I got older, um, I ended up in PT because my chronic pain got so bad that it was causing trouble with walking and sitting long enough to sit through a class. And basically, they eventually said that they wouldn't be able to work with me anymore because I was so prone to injury and because I was having so many other problems that they said they weren't qualified to work with like my fingers started to give out. And then I started, like, eventually I was like, oh, wait, I think that I'm having subluxations. And then I met someone with Ehlers Danlos Syndrome who was like, hey, you have all these same problems that I have, and I think you might have this disease, so, like, talk with your doctors about it. And so the first couple times I brought it up, everyone was like, oh, no, you're crazy. You couldn't have EDS. EDS is so rare. There's no way that it's EDS. And I talked with my PT about it, and he was like, oh, well, connective tissue disorder is a possibility, don't know what is. Probably not EDS though. And I was like, okay. Um, but like as things went on, the more people I talked with who had EDS, I became more and more convinced that I probably had Ehlers Danlos. Um, my family thought I was completely crazy. They insisted I wasn't sick. They insisted that nothing was wrong with me. I had problems with being called a Munchausen, which obviously was really hurtful. My dad actually told me that I was delusional, that I wasn't sick, that I was just lazy and just a bad person, or that it was just that I was severely mentally ill. I had a rheumatologist tell me that it was just my emotional self projecting my problems into my physical body, and that Americans were just generally unhealthy, and tried to say that like I should meditate myself out of chronic dislocations. Eventually, I started having heart problems, which was really where my diagnosis kind of kicked off. Once I started having, well, that, and I also got referred to an OT. And the OT, I told them, hey, I think I have Ehlers Danlos Syndrome. And they looked at my hands, and it turned out that I had less strength in my hands than a 6-year-old. Like the average 6-year-old, like the average female 6-year-old, had almost twice the amount of strength in their hands that I do, because my hands were so weak from the dislocations. And they looked at my hands and saw them dislocating and were like, oh wow, this is a severe problem. They said that they had worked with people before who had hypermobility problems and chronic dislocations, so they prescribed, or they didn't prescribe, but they wrote an order for a prescription for ring splints, which I'm still waiting on getting, which is why I'm not wearing them. But hopefully my new rheumatologist is trying to rush my order, because it's December, and like it's like the month for health insurance. But basically, recently when they found out, I had to go to the ER for tachycardic episodes that were triggered by me standing or walking uphill, which is like most people stand or walk up hills and don't have those, so it's kind of like a warning sign. But so I was told I probably had POTS, but they tested my blood pressure and they said my blood pressure wasn't low enough. They ignored the fact that my heart rate sitting down was at 120. So I ended up starting, I went back to a primary care physician that I hadn't seen in not quite a year, but almost a year. And they referred me to a cardiologist because they were like, hey, something is seriously wrong with your heart. You shouldn't be passing out when you stand up. You shouldn't be having tachycardic episodes. You're too young for all of that. And then also, it had just been sort of ignored that I had been throwing up every day, 2 or 3 times a day, for over a month. It turned out, I found out that I had severe dysautonomia. I have really severe POTS. My heart rate goes up to 140 when I stand, and is normally between 80 and 90 when I'm sitting or laying down. And that's even with beta blockers and steroids. So I'm in a wheelchair now. This is my rental wheelchair, Luke, until my real wheelchair is cleared by insurance, but I'll be showing that eventually. But so basically, long story short, when they realized that I had all of the other health problems that coincide with EDS, I finally was able to get my Ehlers Danlos diagnosis. So I'm paperwork official for Ehlers Danlos, and I have referrals for a geneticist, but I'm still on the waiting list, and hopefully in January I'll get to see a geneticist. But you know how these things go. You can get pushed backwards, or a number of problems. If somebody who has a higher priority case comes up, I also have gastroparesis, which means my stomach and intestines are paralyzed. Sort of, it's like, because my autonomic nervous system is failing, my brain can't make my like intestinal intestines and stomach do the right things. So basically, like, I'll eat food and then I'll throw up all day, or I'll eat food and I won't digest. Like, if I eat breakfast, I won't digest it until the next day sometimes, even. Or, like, if I eat a lunch, I've had problems with, I didn't get my night meds. Like, my night meds absorbed the next day instead. So then I had, like, a double dose of my pain meds, and my muscle relaxers and things got all messed up, and I was, like, sedated for Thanksgiving, which was kind of, like, weird for my family, because I was, like, I didn't know where I was. It wasn't good. But I guess some of the things I wanted to talk about were just that I have EDS, I have dysautonomia, like the POTS, the gastroparesis, the wheelchair. But I sort of just wanted to, like, do an introduction and be like, yeah, that's me, this is the problems I'm having, and I sort of wanted to start making videos to document how I'm doing throughout, like, my health journey or whatever, because I feel like EDS is a very under-talked about disease, and like, when I first realized that I had EDS before I had my diagnosis, I had a very hard time dealing with it because of the problems with my family not believing me, and the fact that I couldn't get health care because no one believed me. Like, I'm having dislocations maybe 6 or 7 times a day. Both my wrists are subluxed right now, by the way. Like I can hold, like, my actual wrist is, like, I can turn my hand all the way around, even though my wrist is, like, stationary, or like same thing. My wrist is, my hand should be facing my face, but it's, like, facing that wall. Or, I don't know, like, I can do other, as you hear my shoulders popping, I don't know, can other hypermobile things, or, like, I don't know. Not all these things necessarily mean that you have EDS, like, subluxations can happen, or hypermobility can happen, but just the combination that I have. Or, like, I have the super fragile skin. You can kind of see, like, the scars that I have. I don't know, webcams kind of whitewash things, but have scars all over my hands from, like, paper cuts or just my skin rubbing against my braces, which I'm not actually wearing most of my braces right now except my pelvis brace. But normally I wear, like, a rib brace, shoulder braces, wrist braces, knee braces. Then soon I'm going to have finger splints, so I have lots of braces. But I guess, like, I wanted other people who are going to find out that they have EDS, to have someone that they could talk to, or someone who they could hear about the experiences of, someone who'd be willing to, like, interact with people, so that when you find out you have EDS, you're not alone. And so also other people might get interested in EDS to hopefully eventually get better treatment options. It's a genetic disease, so there is no cure. And there aren't very many treatment options right now other than PT and pain meds. I mean, like, you can get meds to treat the symptoms, but there's no way to really treat the root cause of EDS, which is defective collagen. So, like, my skin is super stretchy, or, like my eyelids. Not sure if you can hear them pop, but they pop. Or, like, the collagen in my nose is, like I can bend that, or, like, touch my ear to my face. Or, like, I have very floppy ears because of the EDS. I have, like, super stretchy skin. Or, like, my hands. Yeah, I don't know. And very soft skin, the one upside of EDS. Or also, I'm not gonna actually say that out loud. Never mind. But yeah, soft skin is one of the few upsides of EDS. The other thing too is if you find out you have EDS, Tumblr actually has a huge community of people with EDS, and we're all very supportive of one another. We send messages back and forth, Christmas cards. It's really great, and it's always really great to talk with other people who understand where you're coming from and understand what's happening to your body and the really bizarre complications that it can cause and how it affects your life. But yeah, so basically, if you have EDS, I would love to talk with you. And if you don't have EDS and have questions, feel free to leave comments, and I will respond to them as best I can. Please, like, nice questions are preferable to mean questions. But yeah, oh, I have little horns on just because, I don't know, my boyfriend was joking around about me headbutting people while I'm in my wheelchair, like, you know, like you run up to people and just whoop with your head. And so my dad and my boyfriend were joking around about how, like, if I had little horns, it would be perfect because I'm like a tiny demon. But yeah, so my blog is smolbendyburrito, like SMOL, like if you're into the Tumblr lingo. But so SMOLBEND, wait, BENDY, sorry, BURRITO, because like I'm in a lot of pain most of the time, so a lot of times I curl up in blankets, and the whole like blanket burrito thing, like I just am in blankets, and I also love burritos. I'm a vegetarian, so I eat a lot of like, or at least I used to eat a lot of burritos. I'm gonna keep trying to eat burritos. No one can stop me, not even defective organs. But yeah, so I guess this has been kind of a long rambling video, but yeah, EDS, dysautonomia, I will be your friend. And I hope you're having a great day, I don't know, and a low pain day with like lots of energy, and you can like run around and, or wheel around and cane around and do all the things that are important to you. Or if you're not having that much energy, I hope you have like nice warm blankets and beverages to help you like feel good. But yeah, I guess I'm probably gonna start trying to make regular videos. I'm not sure if I'm gonna try to do weekly or not, but it's probably going to have some stuff to do with like my school load. I'm a full-time college student right now. I'm switching to part-time next semester. It's almost the end of the semester though, so hopefully I'll like get through it. But I'm probably going to try to do videos at least once a week, and I'll probably talk about disability-related topics, stuff like that. But yeah, I hope you have good days, and I guess I'll see you later. Bye. Oh, the spacebar on this one doesn't show.